Start of narration. Imagine you're 7 years old. For most kids, that means chasing frogs, climbing trees, and maybe getting into a bit of mischief. But for you, it's the first day of the rest of your life. It's the day you begin your journey to become a knight, and trust me, it's nothing like the stories. This journey doesn't start with a shining sword or a noble quest. It starts with a goodbye. Your parents, their faces a mixture of pride and perhaps a little bit of relief, send you off. There are no tearful hugs, no promises to write, just a firm pat on the shoulder, a small bundle of clothes clutched in your hand, and the immense weight of expectation settling on your tiny shoulders. No one asks if you're ready. Honestly, being ready isn't part of the equation. You are now a page. As you approach the castle, its stone towers seem to scrape against a dull, gray sky. The silhouette is both a promise of greatness and a warning of the hardships to come. You hear the deep groan of the main gate as it swings open, revealing your new world. And what you find inside isn't a grand hall filled with honor and glory. It's a world of fetching, cleaning, and endless, thankless chores. You quickly learn that chivalry is a distant dream. First, you have to survive the reality. You're up before the sun, and you don't stop until long after it has set. Your days are a blur of running messages, sweeping vast, dusty halls, delivering secretive notes between nobles, and serving at meals, trying not to spill a single drop on the Lord's fine clothes. You are constantly in motion, a small shadow darting through the castle's cold corridors. On what you consider a lucky day, you're given the task of polishing armor. It sounds grand, doesn't it? The chance to touch the steel of a real knight. But the reality is, chipping away at caked-on mud, and yes, horse manure, from heavy metal greaves, your hands become raw and calloused. Your back aches from stooping and scrubbing, and the knights, the heroes you're meant to become, they barely notice you. You're just another piece of the background, part of the staff. You are not yet part of their world, but amidst the endless drudgery, the training begins. It's subtle at first. You're handed a wooden practice sword, treated with about as much ceremony as a broom. Then, the sparring starts. You're pitted against other boys, all of you just as desperate, just as eager to prove you have what it takes. Welts and bruises become your constant companions, little purple flowers blooming on your arms and legs. Each sting is a lesson in pain, a reminder of the price of failure. They teach you how to ride, which sounds exciting until you learn the first real lesson, how to fall. They teach you how to be thrown from a horse without breaking your neck, a skill you'll practice more times than you can count. Some days, it feels like the main purpose of your training isn't to stay on the horse, but to learn how to hit the ground and get back up over and over again. Falling, it seems, is the most important lesson of all. As the years crawl by, you grow. Your body hardens, your muscles strengthen, but your status remains the same. You are still a servant. You're learning the intricate rules of courtly life, not from a textbook, but by watching, listening, and most importantly, by staying invisible. You learn which lords have a short temper, which ladies appreciate a quiet compliment, and how to navigate the complex web of alliances and rivalries that defines the castle. You learn to read a room, to anticipate a need before it's spoken. This isn't swordsmanship, but it's a critical part of your survival and education. You watch the knights train in the yard, their real steel swords ringing against each other. The sound is a siren's call, a promise of the future you're working so hard for. You study their movements, their footwork, their stances, committing every detail to memory. You practice in secret, when the yard is empty, swinging your wooden sword at imaginary foes, mimicking the heroes you serve. Your world is one of stark contrasts. The drudgery of your duties and the burning fire of your ambition. You learn about heraldry, not in a classroom, but by cleaning the mud from the coats of arms on the shields. You learn the names of great families and their histories, while serving them wine at the high table. Every task, no matter how menial, becomes a lesson if you're smart enough to see it. Polishing a saddle teaches you the importance of good leather and strong stitching nails that could one day save your life in a charge. Mucking out a stable teaches you about the care and temperament of war horses, animals that will become your trusted partners in battle. Finally, After years of this relentless toil, at around the age of 14, a change comes. You're no longer a page. You've earned the right to become a squire. This isn't a grand ceremony. It's more like a promotion from the scullery to the armory. You are assigned to a specific knight. This is the moment you've been waiting for. You are now one step closer to the world you've only been able to observe from the sidelines. But if you thought being a page was hard, being a squire is a whole new level of exhaustion. Your primary duty is to your knight. You are his valet, his armor-bearer, his bodyguard, and his training partner. You wait before him to prepare his clothes and armor. You stand behind him at meals, ready to serve. You follow him into the training yard, and this time, you're not just watching. You're part of the action. The wooden swords are replaced with blunted steel. The blows are heavier, the risks greater. You learn how to properly care for armor, not just cleaning it, but maintaining every rivet, every strap, every buckle. A broken strap in battle could mean your knight's death, and his death could very well mean yours. You learn the weight of responsibility in a very real, tangible way. You carry his shield, his lance, and his helmet. You are his shadow, his right hand. You accompany your knight to tournaments. These are chaotic, glorious, and terrifying events. The roar of the crowd, the splintering of lances, the thunder of hooves, it's overwhelming. Your job is to arm your knight, to help him onto his destrier, and to be there if he falls. You watch from the sidelines, your heart pounding with a mix of fear and exhilaration. You see the glory up close, but you also see the brutal reality. You see knights carried from the field, groaning in pain, their bodies broken. You learn that honor is paid for in sweat, blood, and sometimes with life itself. And then comes the ultimate test, battle. When the banners are called and the horns of war sound, you ride out with your knight. You don't fight in the main line, not yet. Your place is just behind the chaos, holding a spare horse, a fresh lance, ready to assist your master at a moment's notice. The air is thick with the screams of men and the clash of steel. It's a vision of hell, and you are in the middle of it. If your knight is unhorsed, it's your job to get to him, to protect him, to help him back into the fight. Your own life is secondary. Through all of this, the years of servitude, the bruises, the exhaustion, the fear, you are being forged. Just like a blacksmith heats, hammers, and quenches a piece of iron to create a strong blade, you are being shaped by hardship. The 7-year-old boy who arrived at the castle gates is gone, replaced by a young man who is strong, resilient, and skilled. You've learned more than just how to fight. You've learned discipline, loyalty, and the true meaning of duty. And then, one day, it happens. Maybe it's after a great victory in battle, or perhaps during a solemn feast. You are called forward. You kneel before your lord, the same man you once served food to, the man whose floors you swept. Your knight, the one you served so faithfully, stands beside you. You have proven your worth. You have endured the trials. You feel the flat of a sword tap your shoulder. Once, twice, the words are spoken. Arise, Sir Knight. And as you stand, everything is different. The weight on your shoulders is no longer the burden of servitude, but the mantle of honor. You are no longer a servant, no longer a shadow. You are a knight. The journey was long, brutal, and anything but glamorous. But as you stand there, in your own shining armor, you know that every moment of hardship, every drop of sweat, was worth it. Imagine a world where your potential is recognized from a young age, and you're invited to embark on a path unlike any other. This isn't just about learning skills. It's about building an unbreakable spirit, brick by brick. Picture this. You're just a boy, full of energy and curiosity, and suddenly, you're handed a wooden practice sword. It might seem like a simple toy, but it's the first step into a world of rigorous training. You learn by doing, sparring with others, just as eager and full of youthful fire as you are. Sure, you'll get a few bumps and bruises along the way. Those little welts are like badges of honor, showing you're pushing your limits. Each spar isn't just a fight. It's a lesson in agility, strategy, and understanding your own strength. It's about finding that inner warrior, bit by bit. And it's not just about swords. You learn incredible physical feats, like how to skillfully manage a fall from a mount. This might sound intense, but it's all about mastering control and awareness of your body. Think of it as advanced parkour for a historical setting. The goal isn't to avoid falling, but to learn how to recover gracefully, turning potential tumbles into opportunities for growth. It's about building resilience, understanding that setbacks aren't failures, but chances to refine your technique and come back stronger. Every single time you get up, you're proving your dedication and your grit. Now, here's where the true magic happens. It's not about getting praised for every small step. It's about internalizing your lessons and showing unwavering focus. This journey teaches you the incredible power of self-discipline. It's about understanding that true strength comes from within, from your ability to push past discomfort, to learn from every challenge, and to grow silently but powerfully. You discover the incredible discipline that shapes not just your actions, but your very character. Communication is key, and you learn the art of respectful interaction. You learn the importance of listening, of speaking with purpose, and of understanding the value of hierarchy and teamwork. It's about being part of something bigger than yourself, where every individual plays a crucial role. This isn't about being silent. It's about thoughtful engagement and respecting the wisdom of those who have walked the path before you. It's about honing your discernment and knowing when and how to contribute your voice effectively. Every challenge, every instruction, no matter how seemingly small, becomes an opportunity for growth. You learn that even the most menial tasks contribute to the grander scheme, building a foundation of thoroughness and dedication. It's about embracing every aspect of the learning process. And yes, sometimes the lessons are delivered with a firm hand, not as punishment, but as a clear redirection, a sharp reminder to stay focused on excellence. It's about immediate feedback that helps you course correct and embed good habits. Let me share a powerful example. One boy, in his eagerness, might forget a small but significant gesture of respect, like removing his cap when a noble person enters. This isn't met with anger, but with a profound lesson in humility. Perhaps he spends a period of quiet reflection, not as a penance, but as an opportunity to truly understand the importance of mindfulness and respect in all interactions. It's an immersive learning experience that ensures everyone understands the values of courtesy and attention to detail. No one forgets a lesson learned with such depth. It's about nurturing a respectful and considerate spirit. This entire journey is about transforming raw potential into refined character. It's about building mental toughness, physical prowess, and an unwavering sense of duty and respect. It's a path that shapes not just warriors, but leaders, individuals with integrity, discipline, and an incredible capacity for resilience. It's a testament to the idea that true growth often comes from embracing challenges head-on and allowing them to forge us into stronger, more capable individuals. What do you think about it and the pervasive role of faith? It's a stark contrast to our world, and trust me, it'll make you appreciate your comfy chairs and endless books just a little bit more. So, settle in, hit that like button, and let's journey back in time. Imagine growing up in a world without schools as we know them. If your family was lucky enough to possess wealth, maybe, just maybe, a tutor would be hired. They'd teach you to read, to write a bit, and perhaps even some Latin. But honestly, for most, Latin seemed primarily useful for deciphering those long church services, or the ancient words carved on tombs. It wasn't about broadening your horizons. It was about understanding what you had to understand. But what if you weren't wealthy? Well, then your education was a completely different beast. You learned through mimicry. You observed everything. You committed prayers to memory, perhaps repeating them word for word after your elders. And if you were truly fortunate, the castle steward might, on a rare kind day, spare you a tiny piece of parchment. On that precious scrap, with an unsteady hand, you'd practice forming letters, maybe just a few, over and over. The ability to read, that was a luxury, an indulgence for the few. For the vast majority, what really counted was brawn and compliance. Could you work hard? Could you follow orders without question? That was your currency. Yet, despite this stark reality, you absorbed everything around you. You became a sponge, soaking up every detail of your environment. You learned which utensil to use at a feast, even if most men preferred the simplicity and directness of their own hands. You mastered the art of standing perfectly still, without moving a muscle, for hours on end during elaborate court feasts. Picture this, balancing heavy trays of steaming hot food, all while the aristocracy debated state affairs and, inevitably, grumbled about the quality of the wine. It was a test of endurance, both physical and mental. And then there was the even more critical lesson, learning to become invisible. When tempers flared, when arguments erupted, you learned to melt into the background. And when those inebriated knights started boasting of their past skirmishes, loud and belligerent, you learned to vanish completely. Your survival often depended on your ability to disappear, to avoid becoming the target of an ill-tempered lord or a drunken warrior. Every single second of your day was an education in how to simply get by, how to navigate a world that was often harsh and unforgiving. Mornings in the medieval world always started the same way, with Mass. The castle chapel, no matter the season, was notoriously frigid. Your breath would mist visibly in the cold air as you knelt on that unyielding stone floor, your body aching, desperately trying to remain awake during the seemingly endless liturgy. In this era, belief wasn't optional, it was mandatory. It was as integral to your upbringing as learning how to wield a tool or stand guard. You were taught, from your earliest days, to fear damnation, to show unwavering deference to the church, and to confess your sins often, seeking absolution. The priests spoke of a grand divine plan, of a holy calling that everyone was a part of. You'd nod, perhaps feigning understanding, all the while struggling to keep your eyes open, to fight off the creeping exhaustion. But mostly, in those long, cold mornings, you just prayed. You prayed that you wouldn't get sick, because you knew, deep down, that cures were few and far between, recoveries even fewer. Life was precious, fragile, and often brutal. So, while we might look back and romanticize the medieval period, it's clear that life for the average person was a constant education in survival, obedience, and faith. It makes you think, doesn't it? What would you do in a world like that? Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. Forget the shining armor and epic quests for just a moment. We're going to walk a mile in their worn-out boots, experience the daily grind, and see what it truly took to become a knight. This isn't just about history. It's about resilience, dedication, and the hidden struggles behind a legendary title. If you've ever wondered about the nitty-gritty details of medieval life, you're in for an eye-opening journey. So, grab a comfy seat, because this is going to be a fascinating ride. Let's start with something incredibly basic, yet profoundly impactful on daily life: food. Picture this: your meals aren't elaborate feasts. They're quick, functional events. Breakfast, if you even get one, might be a hunk of hard bread, perhaps a piece of cheese, and if you're particularly lucky, a sliver of salted meat. Greens, forget about it. Uncooked vegetables were often viewed with suspicion, believed to lead to sickness. So, you subsisted on a steady intake of preserved meats and dense, often stale, bread. There was no leisurely dining. You ate rapidly, always aware that your next chore, your next duty, was waiting. Time was a luxury no one, especially a squire, could afford to waste. Meal times were a stark reminder of your place in the household hierarchy. While the lord and lady dined in their private chambers or at the high table with more varied fare, you were typically relegated to communal tables, often standing or perched on a bench, scarfing down your portion. The food was fuel, nothing more. Every calorie was essential for the back-breaking work that filled your day. Imagine the sheer monotony of this diet, day in and day out. No exotic spices, no sweet treats, just the bare necessities to keep your body moving. It wasn't about enjoyment. It was about survival and preparedness for the demands of your training. Now, imagine the sheer delight when a rare festival day arrived. These were the days, etched into memory, recalled for years, like vivid visions seen through smoke. On such occasions, the culinary landscape transformed. There might be a roasted boar, its skin crackling, its rich aroma filling the air. Or cakes, sweetened not with refined sugar, but with precious honey. These were moments of pure, unadulterated joy, a temporary reprieve from the daily grind. These feasts weren't just about food. They were communal celebrations, opportunities to briefly forget the hardship and connect with others in a rare moment of shared abundance. These days were fuel for the spirit, not just the body. As the sun set and darkness crept in, the main hall truly came alive. This was often the only time for communal entertainment, a chance for stories and music to fill the cavernous space. Musicians would perform, their voices and instruments weaving tales of legendary heroes like King Arthur and Sir Roland, or of saints who bravely defeated dragons. These were the sagas that shaped the medieval imagination, stories of valor, sacrifice, and divine intervention. As a young squire, you'd sit at the edge, near the flickering warmth of the fire, straining to hear every single word. Every epic poem, every ballad, was a lesson in courage, honor, and the ideals you were striving to embody. These songs were designed to be inspiring, to ignite the spark of heroism within you. But let's be honest, after a full day of exhausting labor, of running errands, cleaning armor, and training, you were often too utterly exhausted to be deeply moved. Your aching feet, your tired muscles, and the sheer fatigue of the day occupied your thoughts far more than acts of valor or noble quests. You might nod off, only to be jolted awake by a louder chord or a sudden burst of laughter. The desire to listen was there, but the body often refused to cooperate. A constant battle between aspiration and physical limitation. Yet, despite the exhaustion, something profound did stir within you. It wasn't an immediate, overwhelming feeling, but a quiet, persistent hope, a sliver of possibility. Perhaps, that one day, someone might sing about you, that your deeds, your sacrifices, your eventual bravery, might become the stuff of legend. This wasn't vanity. It was the ultimate aspiration of a squire, the driving force behind enduring the hardship, to be remembered, to be an inspiration, to earn your place among the heroes of old. This glimmer of hope was often the only thing that kept you going through the grueling days and sleepless nights. And speaking of sleep, it was another harsh reality. You slept wherever you could, often in the servant areas, crammed shoulder to shoulder with the other boys. Your bedding was typically a straw pallet, which, let's be frank, stank of perspiration and damp. There was little privacy, no personal space, and certainly no comfort. Every shift of a body, every snore, every cough was shared. It was a communal existence, stripping away any pretense of individual comfort or luxury. Your body ached from the hard ground, your mind restless from the day's demands and the anticipation of tomorrow's. Some nights, the sleep you finally managed to grab would be abruptly shattered. You'd be shaken awake, often by a gruff voice, to assist with late-arriving travelers or unexpected guests. There was no time for complaint, no room for grogginess. You learned to get up without a word, to function while completely drained, to never, ever let your exhaustion show in your eyes. A night, you were taught, must be prepared at any time, for any eventuality. This brutal, round-the-clock training wasn't just physical. It was a profound lesson in mental fortitude, self-discipline, and the art of enduring without showing weakness. This was where the true making of a knight began, long before a sword was ever formally bestowed. This wasn't just a tough life. It was a crucible, forging character under immense pressure. Every challenge, every discomfort, every early morning and late night was a step towards becoming the ideal. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't easy, but it was essential. This daily grind, the constant demands, the unwavering expectation of service and readiness, truly defined the path to knighthood. What do you think about this demand, persistence, community, and the sheer power of an unwavering dream? Imagine, for a moment, you're not in your comfortable chair, but within the thick, cold walls of a medieval castle. It's early morning, the air is crisp, and the sounds of awakening life echo through the stone corridors. You're not alone here, far from it. In fact, that's one of the first, most profound lessons you learn within these formidable walls. Think about it, you're surrounded by others, all enduring the same daily grind, the same strict routines, the same seemingly endless chores. You build these incredible, unspoken bonds, not with words always, but with shared glances across a crowded hall, a knowing look when a supervisor isn't paying attention, or a quiet, almost imperceptible sigh of solidarity when another arduous task is laid upon you. It's in these subtle moments that a true community forms, a silent understanding that you're all in this together. You master the intricate rhythms of this castle life, a dance between duty and a desperate need for rest. You learn to distinguish between the truly harsh warriors, whose sharp words sting, and those who, while stern, possess a glimmer of humanity. You quickly figure out which guards will genuinely turn a blind eye when you manage to snag a second, much-needed portion of stew during dinner. Oh, the small victories. They taste sweeter than any royal feast, more than just distinguishing characters. You learn who you can truly rely on, the ones who will offer a quiet word of encouragement or a helping hand without being asked. Conversely, you also learn who to tread carefully around, who to avoid eye contact with, and whose presence sends a shiver down your spine. It's an education in human nature, played out daily amidst the clang of steel and the smell of wood smoke. And then, there are those precious pockets of peace. You discover the hidden nooks and crannies of the castle, a quiet corner in the garden, a secluded stretch of the battlements, or perhaps an unused storage room, where you can snatch a brief moment of quiet, a chance to simply breathe and be. These fleeting moments become your sanctuaries, vital for recharging your spirit. Even in such a demanding environment, flashes of humor cut through the monotony, like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. Maybe it's the head cook, a gruff but kind soul, cracking a dry joke that makes everyone snort with laughter. Or perhaps it's the sight of a bumbling, well-meaning knight, his armor clanking, tripping over a sleeping hound in the courtyard, sending a ripple of suppressed giggles through the onlookers. And then there are the truly illicit joys, a perfectly pilfered apple, its sweetness a rebellion against a constant hunger, shared in secret with a trusted friend. These small, unexpected bursts of joy, these moments of shared human connection, are what you hold on to. They become your anchors, powerful reminders that life, vibrant and full of laughter, continues to exist even beyond your endless duties. They reassure you that even in the toughest of environments, humor and light have a place, and that the human spirit always finds a way to shine. Sometimes, you get a glimpse of the world beyond the towering ramparts, a world that seems almost mythical in its vibrant colors and bustling activity. Merchants arrive at the castle gates, their wagons laden with exotic silks and aromatic spices from faraway lands. Their tales of travels as rich as their wares. A troupe of actors might pass through, their vibrant costumes and boisterous songs bringing a splash of unexpected entertainment. Or perhaps a noblewoman, resplendent in her finery, glides by with her entourage, her very presence a whisper of a different, more refined existence. These sights, these fleeting glimpses of an outer world, often seem alien, almost dreamlike, like stories glimpsed in a fog or whispered legends. They belong to a reality that feels incredibly distant, almost unattainable. You are not in that world yet, not living that life, but the images ignite a spark of hope deep within you. You yearn for it, you strive for it, and you hold on to the quiet, fervent hope that someday you will be. But let's be real, it's not always easy. At times, doubt, that insidious whisper, begins to surface. The grand tales of glory, of valiant knights and noble deeds, seem incredibly far away. Distant echoes against the stark, demanding reality of your everyday life. The constant ache in your muscles, the biting reprimands from superiors, the persistent gnawing of hunger. You question if all of this relentless struggle, this endless sacrifice, is truly the path to honor, to the noble destiny you envision. You wonder if the dream is worth the relentless toil, if the effort will ever truly pay off. It's in these moments of vulnerability, when the weight of the world seems heaviest, that you need something powerful to reignite your resolve. And then, just when despair threatens to take hold, something shifts. You see a knight, perhaps the castle lord himself, or a renowned warrior, ride out from the castle gates. His armor gleams under the sun, polished to a mirror shine. His noble banner, emblazoned with the crest of his house, snaps proudly in the wind. The sheer majesty of the sight, the embodiment of everything you aspire to be, hits you with a force that takes your breath away. In that instant, as you watch him disappear into the horizon, your chest tightens with a single, powerful, unyielding thought. Someday, that could be me. That vision, that unwavering dream, pushes all doubt aside. It reminds you why you endure, why you persist, and why every ache, every struggle, is a step closer to becoming the person you are meant to be. It's a powerful lesson, isn't it? That even in the most challenging circumstances, hope, community, and an unshakable dream can light the way forward. For a young page, living within the formidable walls of a medieval fortress. It's a world of stark contrasts, harsh labor, and moments of quiet solace, strict discipline, and whispers of ancient tales. This isn't just any story. It's a journey of transformation, a testament to what it truly means to be shaped by experience, step by demanding step. Think about it. Some pages find their truest escape, their sanctuary, not in the bustling courtyards or the echoing halls, but within the pages of a book. Yes, even in this era, the power of a good story is undeniable. The Old Steward's Room, a treasure trove in itself, holds these incredible, illuminated manuscripts. They're heavy, bound in rich leather, and guarded with as much care and zeal as the Lord's most prized weapons. These aren't just books. They are portals to other worlds, repositories of wisdom and wonder. And on those truly fortunate evenings, when the day's relentless demands finally give way to the gentle hush of twilight, you might find yourself in a privileged spot. You get to sit by the warmth of a crackling fire, the flames dancing, casting long, flickering shadows on the stone walls. And there, an older, seasoned scribe, his voice a low, comforting murmur, reads aloud. He spins tales of Roman commanders, their strategies, their triumphs, their indomitable spirit. Or he recounts the inspiring legends of saints, individuals who faced unimaginable, terrible trials and emerged victorious, their faith unshaken. These aren't just stories for entertainment. They are nourishment. They feed your mind, offering solace and inspiration, while your body, weary and aching from a day of relentless labor, mends and prepares for the next. These tales are more than just words. They are lessons in courage, resilience, and perseverance, whispered from the past to prepare you for the future. They teach you that even in the toughest moments, there's a strength to be found within. But it's not all tales of glory and saints. Life in the fortress also comes with its own set of quiet, often chilling, warnings. These aren't shouted from the ramparts, but delivered in hushed voices, or muttered under breath by older, world-weary servants who've seen it all. They speak of other pages, boys who came before you, boys who, for whatever reason, didn't make the cut. They talk about those who simply shattered under the immense strain, unable to bear the weight of expectation and the unforgiving discipline. Or worse, they speak of those who were sent away in shame, their dreams of knighthood extinguished before they could even properly ignite. And sometimes, most chilling of all, they just disappear. No fanfare, no explanation, just gone. These aren't ghost stories. They are stark reminders of the high stakes involved in this life. They teach you the harsh realities, the unforgiving nature of a world where only the truly resilient survive and thrive. Occasionally, you overhear conversations you were definitely not meant to. Fragments of hushed words, urgent tones, a sudden silence as you approach. These are the moments that truly sharpen your instincts. You rapidly learn the unspoken rules of survival in this environment. When to be absolutely quiet, blending into the background, a silent observer. When to offer a respectful nod, acknowledging authority without overstepping. and critically, when to simply keep your gaze fixed firmly on the floor, avoiding eye contact, making yourself small and visible. This fortress, with its towering walls, its strict hierarchy, its endless demands, is more than just a dwelling. It is your trial. Every single hour spent within its confines, every chore, every lesson, every quiet observation, every moment of discipline is shaping you. It's molding you into something tougher, something leaner, something infinitely more capable than the child who first arrived. You're not a knight yet, not by a long shot, but you are also no longer just a child. That naive, unburdened innocence has been shed, replaced by a quiet resolve. You are a being in transition, standing on the precipice of something new. You are being worn down, yes, but in the best possible way, like a stone smoothed by a relentless river. Emerging stronger, more refined, you are disciplined, your spirit honed, your will tempered, and beneath it all, there's a silent, unshakable resolution. This isn't just about surviving, it's about becoming. So when you lie awake at night, the silence of the dormitory, broken only by the soft creaks of the old timber and the distant calls of night owls, your gaze fixed on the rough wooden beams above your straw bed. Your thoughts aren't solely on the hardships you've endured that day. You think not just of what you've borne, the aches and the lessons, but of what's next. You look forward, not back. Your mind turns to the next stage, the next trial that awaits you. What new challenges will tomorrow bring? What new lessons will you learn? What new heights will you have to scale? You envision the next step on this arduous, yet ultimately fulfilling path. It's a path that, one day, if the gods are willing, if your Lord deems you worthy, and if your body, pushed to its limits, holds out, will lead you to knighthood. That ultimate aspiration, the pinnacle of your dreams, glimmers on the horizon. But for this moment, right here, right now, as you lie in the quiet dark, you are a page, and in the crucible of this fortress, amidst the labor and the dreams, the whispers and the stories, you realize something profound. For now, being a page, enduring these trials, learning these lessons, growing into this new skin, that is enough. It is more than enough. It is the essential foundation for everything that is yet to come. It's the journey itself that transforms you, step by quiet, determined step. This story of the page is a powerful reminder for all of us. No matter what trials we face, what challenges shape us, or what dreams we aspire to, every step of the journey, every moment of growth, and every quiet act of resilience is valid and vital. Thing you thought you knew about chivalry and shining armor for a moment, because this is where the real grit begins. Imagine this. You've spent years as a page, running errands, learning basic manners, perhaps even charming the ladies of the court with your youthful innocence. You're 14 now, on the cusp of manhood, and suddenly, those days are over. There's no gentle farewell ceremony, no soft words of encouragement. The bonds of your time as a page are formally severed, and let me tell you, it's not with any particular tenderness. One day you're fetching sweet pastries, the next you're handed a set of heavy tools and a stern look. You are no longer just a boy. You are a squire. Now, on the surface, squire sounds like a pretty cool upgrade, right? A step closer to becoming a knight, to glory and honor. And yes, in a way, it is. But let's be honest, this new rank comes with significantly less confectionery and a great deal more contusions. You've advanced from polishing the castle hallways until they gleamed to polishing plate mail, until you can see your own weary reflection in it. You used to retrieve wine cups for the Lord. Now, you might be retrieving the Lord himself, who might be gravely wounded, or even dying, in his armor on a battlefield. It's a stark, often shocking, shift in responsibility. Your new position is incredibly personal, almost intimate. You're not just serving the castle anymore. You are assigned to a specific knight, and you are absolutely required to attend to him with the loyalty and unwavering devotion of a shadow. Think about that for a second. Your life, your entire existence, suddenly revolves around another person. Where he ventures, you ventures. If he enters a battle, you are not cheering from the sidelines. You are right behind him, preparing to jump into action. If he is unhorsed, that massive, terrifying knight tumbling to the ground, it's your asterisk duty to dash into the fray, risking everything, putting your own life on the line to assist him. You are no longer just a child of the castle, enjoying relatively safe duties. You are the squire to a warrior, and your life is dictated by his needs, by his safety, by his very breath. This new role comes with an immediate and drastic intensification of your physical conditioning. Those years of running errands, they were just warm-ups. Now, it's time for the real training. And let me tell you, controlling a destrier, for example, is absolutely not the graceful, heroic motion you might have envisioned in your daydreams. These animals are immense, truly colossal. They're bred specifically for strength, for carrying fully armored knights into battle, and for engaging in conflict themselves. And often, they are far more volatile, more unpredictable than even the noblemen who ride them. Just getting onto one of these beasts is a minor struggle in itself. They're tall, powerful, and sometimes, frankly, a bit grumpy. But mounting it, that's just the beginning. Controlling a warhorse is a perpetual negotiation. It's a constant battle of wills, strength, and raw physicality. You're not just holding reins. You're wrestling with hundreds of pounds of muscle and instinct. Your thighs burn with an intensity you never knew possible. From gripping the saddle to stay mounted, your spine is relentlessly jolted with every powerful step the horse takes, especially during training exercises or prolonged rides. You quickly realize that your rear end has probably been sore since that autumn festival you attended as a page, and now it's just a permanent state of affairs. Every muscle in your body screams in protest, but you have to push through, because your night, and potentially your life, depends on it. Beyond the physical demands, the mental and emotional burden is immense. You're learning the intricate art of warfare, not from a textbook, but by observation and direct participation. You're expected to know your knight's armor inside and out, how to don it quickly, how to repair it on the fly. You learn about weapons, strategy, and the grim realities of combat. You witness the savagery and heroism firsthand, and you're expected to remain composed, alert, and ready to act. There is no room for fear or hesitation when your knight's life hangs in the balance. But it's not all sweat and struggle. There are moments of pride, of immense satisfaction, when you successfully lead your knight's destrier through a difficult terrain, when you spot a potential danger before he does, when you swiftly hand him the correct weapon at the critical moment in a skirmish. These are the small victories that fuel your determination. You're learning invaluable skills, loyalty, resilience, quick thinking, and an intimate understanding of leadership. You're seeing the world from a completely different perspective, one that's preparing you for a future beyond the castle walls. This period, as a squire, is a crucible, forging a boy into the man he is destined to become. It's a test of spirit, strength, and character. It's about more than just fighting. It's about service, sacrifice, and the unwavering bond between a knight and his most trusted companion. Every bruise, every aching muscle, every grueling lesson is a step closer to earning your spurs, to becoming a knight yourself. It's a journey filled with incredible challenges, but also with profound growth and the promise of a truly noble purpose. So, the next time you think about knights in shining armor, remember the squires. Remember the unsung heroes behind the heroes, the ones who polished the armor, tamed the horses, and stood ready to lay down their lives. Their dedication and grit were just as crucial. It isn't just about polishing armor. It's about a grueling, relentless existence where every mistake could mean disaster, and survival was the ultimate reward. So, if you've ever wondered about the nitty-gritty, the sweat and tears behind the shining armor, stick around. You might just see knighthood in a whole new light. You know, when you picture a squire, you probably imagine them learning the ropes, maybe a bit of gentle swordplay. Well, let me tell you, that gentle part quickly fades. Before you know it, those practice sessions become intensely serious. We're talking about real blades here, not sharpened for killing, thank goodness, but certainly sharp enough to cause some major problems. Imagine sparring with a partner who's just a little bit more rested, a little more focused than you are. The stakes are instantly higher. Every swing, every parry, every step is charged with a new kind of intensity. This isn't just training. It's a constant test of your mettle. And sparring. Oh, we sparred constantly. My body, and the bodies of every squire I knew, became a living canvas of bruises. They never really got a chance to heal properly before new ones appeared. A fresh purple patch here, a fading yellow one there. It was just part of the uniform. Every single bout was a profound lesson in humility. You'd land a good strike, feel that fleeting rush of success, and then boom. You'd take 3 more hits in return. It was a humbling dance of offense and defense, where the goal wasn't just to win, but to survive, to learn, to endure. Because the knight you served, he wasn't looking for elegance in your fighting. He wasn't impressed by fancy footwork if it didn't lead to practical results. What he demanded, above all else, was resilience. He needed someone who could take a hit, learn from it, and get back up. He needed someone who wouldn't crumble under pressure, who could keep fighting even when their bodies screamed for rest. It was about grit, about determination, about an unwavering spirit that matched his own. This wasn't a game. It was preparation for war, and war spares no one. But perhaps, and this might surprise you, the most grueling part of the job wasn't the constant sparring, wasn't the endless bruises. It was the equipment maintenance. You quickly discover that armor is so much more than just plates of steel. It's a microenvironment, a living, breathing contraption that requires constant, meticulous attention. Sweat, dirt, grime, even the occasional slug, yes, you heard that right, slugs, would find their way into the intricate joints of the mail. It was disgusting, it was tedious, and it was absolutely essential. You couldn't just wipe it down. Oh no, you had to clean every crevice, every link. Then you had to oil it, ensuring everything moved smoothly, quietly. And then came the meticulous inspection. Every single hinge, every buckle, every strap had to be checked. Imagine the weight of that responsibility. If the greaves chafed your knight's legs during a long march, or if the helmet's visor jammed even for a split second in the heat of battle, that was your failing. That tiny oversight, that moment of carelessness, could cost him his life. And let us be brutally honest here. If your knight perished because of a faulty strap, you overlooked a buckle. You didn't secure or a piece of armor that failed because of your negligence, you would likely wish you had died with him. The shame, the guilt, the consequences, they were unimaginable. Your life, your reputation, your very existence were tied to the perfection of your work. It was a pressure cooker, an unrelenting demand for precision that never let up. Weapons. They weren't just decorative. They had to be sharpened every single day. A dull blade was a death sentence. Lances had to be checked meticulously for integrity, for cracks, for any sign of weakness that could shatter them mid-charge. Shields, the very bulwark against harm, had to be inspected for fractures, for any damage that might compromise their protective power. Your knight's survival, and by extension, your own standing, your very future, rested on the total, absolute precision of your efforts. And the hardest part of it all, no one congratulated you when everything worked perfectly, when the armor fit like a second skin, when the blade was razor sharp, when the shield held firm. That was just expected. That was your job. But everyone, and I mean everyone would point it out when it didn't. The smallest imperfection, the slightest malfunction, would be met with swift and severe consequences. It was a thankless task, demanding perfection, with no praise for achieving it, only blame for falling short. And then, there were the tournaments. Oh, the tournaments. When you were a young page, they seemed so utterly romantic, didn't they? All those colorful banners fluttering in the breeze, the thrilling sound of trumpets, the cheering ladies, the spectacle of it all. It looked like a grand, glorious game. But once you were a squire, once you were behind the scenes, you saw the brutal truth. You saw how those dulled blades, which were supposed to be safe, still shattered bones. You heard the sickening thud of a lance striking a shield, felt the vibrations of the impact. You were the one preparing the knight's horse, calming its nerves, making sure the saddle was perfect. You were the one handing over the heavy, unwieldy lances, one after another, feeling the weight of them. And when your knight came back from the lists, victorious or defeated, you were there. You were the one wiping the blood from your knight's face, the sweat from his brow, making sure he looked presentable enough to acknowledge the roaring crowd, even if his body was screaming in pain. If he was victorious, yes, you gathered the winnings, the accolades, the glory that spilt over a little onto you. But if he was defeated, if he fell from his horse, if he was struck down, you were the one gathering his fractured ribs, his broken bones, and perhaps the most painful task of all. You were gathering the fragments of his pride. You saw the cost of glory, the reality of defeat, up close and personal. It was a life of relentless work, constant danger, and immense responsibility, all for the honor of serving. It taught you humility, resilience, and the true meaning of dedication. So the next time you think of a knight in shining armor, remember the squire who meticulously cared for every piece of that armor, who bled and bruised in training, and who stood ready to face the harsh realities of the world, the mud, the sweat, and the sheer grit of serving a knight when war isn't just a story, but your daily bread. Imagine this: war arrives, as it always does. One moment you're dreaming of glory, the next you're marching, day after day, through endless muck and rain. Sleep, that's a luxury you barely remember. Food, scarce. Your armor, if you even have it, rubs you raw in places you never knew existed. This isn't just discomfort. This is true exhaustion, where your body moves only because it absolutely has to, driven by sheer will. Combat itself. Far from splendid, it's a chaotic symphony of shouts, the clash of steel, and commands swallowed by the din. The impact of bodies, the unmistakable scent of blood and sweat, that abrupt, terrifying silence when a life is lost. These are your new teachers. You quickly learn to distinguish between the fear that sharpens your senses, making you keenly aware, and the fear that freezes you solid. You pray, with every fiber of your being, that the first kind shows up more often. Because in that chaos, clarity is your best friend. You see, you're not there to join the main fight, not yet. Your primary role is far more crucial, to ensure your knight survives. So, when he's inevitably knocked from his horse, it's your asterisk duty, your absolute, non-negotiable mission, to reach him. You have to hoist him up and pull him out of immediate danger. Picture this: you're trying to haul a fully armored man, each piece of metal weighing as much as a feast day roast, through a waterlogged, treacherous field, while arrows rain down around you like a storm. It's not heroic in the storybook sense. There are no cheering crowds. It's grueling, agonizing work, and the reward, the chance to do it all over again the next day. It's a relentless test of strength, endurance, and unwavering loyalty. Every muscle aches, every breath is a struggle, but you push through because his life depends on it, and in a very real way, so does yours. But your duties don't end on the battlefield. When your knight is hurt, you're the one who dresses his wounds, tending to injuries that would make most people faint. If he's taken captive, it becomes your solemn task to negotiate, to carry terms, and ensure his release. This often means facing men who would honestly prefer to see him dead. This is where you learn diplomacy, not from dusty books, but from raw, desperate necessity. Your words must be chosen with extreme caution, your posture deferential, your tone perfectly measured. Even your silences become a powerful strategic tool, speaking volumes without uttering a sound. It's about outsmarting, outthinking, and outweighting, all for the sake of your knight. And amidst all this struggle, there are moments, rare but profoundly genuine, when a sense of pride washes over you. It could be guiding your knight's warhorse into camp after a long march, and seeing the eyes of others turn to watch. Or that curt nod he gives you after a brutal fight, bloodied and exhausted, but breathing because you were there. These moments are fleeting, like sunbeams breaking through a high window after a storm. They're brief, but they are absolutely vital. They are the fuel that keeps you moving, that reminds you why you endure, and why your role, though often unseen, is indispensable. These aren't the stories you read in fairy tales, but they are the stories of incredible resilience, unwavering loyalty, and the forging of character under immense pressure. It reminds us that true strength often lies not in grand gestures, but in consistent, dedicated action, especially when no one is watching. To the boots of a squire, a journey far more complex and demanding than the romantic tales often tell. Imagine this: you're back in the castle, the sun barely cresting the battlements, and your work never truly ends. You're no longer the wide-eyed newcomer. Now, you're the one guiding the younger pages, sharing those hard-won lessons that were once whispered into your own ears. You serve at tables, help meticulously arrange hunts, ensuring every detail is perfect, and stand ever present by your knight's side, especially when important guests arrive. Your sword, once shiny and new, is now worn from countless hours of practice, its hilt molded to your hand. Your boots are split, a testament to miles walked and duties performed. You carry yourself with a gravitas that belies your years, like someone who's seen and done twice as much. But here's the thing: you're not just staff anymore. Not truly. Every move you make, every word you speak, every decision you take is being observed, assessed, and judged. It's a constant test, a silent evaluation that shapes your future. The priests, ever present, continue to demand your prayers, reminding you of the spiritual fortitude expected. Your lord, the figurehead of your allegiance, still commands your unwavering loyalty, a bond forged in duty and expectation. And your body, oh, your body simply demands rest, a precious commodity that is seldom granted. There's no turning back now. The path you're on, once chosen, or perhaps once thrust upon you, only goes one way: forward. There's a certain inevitability to it. It's in these quiet moments, perhaps while polishing armor or staring out at the rain-swept courtyard, that your mind begins to wander. You start to daydream, picturing your own coat of arms. What colors would you choose? What symbols would represent your journey, your values, your very soul? You fantasize about the dubbing ceremony, the tap of the sword on your shoulders, that transformative moment when you rise not as a squire, but as a knight. It feels impossibly distant, a shimmering mirage on the horizon. Yet paradoxically, it also feels certain, a destiny waiting to unfold. It's that exhilarating, contradictory feeling of both at once. But let's be honest, not every day is filled with hopeful fantasies. There are the difficult days, the ones that strip away any romantic notions. These are the days you help bury a fellow squire, a companion trampled by a warhorse during training, or pierced by a lance that didn't seem quite blunted enough. It's a stark reminder of the ever-present danger, even in practice. And in these moments, a harsh truth emerges. There are no ballads for squires. No one writes epic poems for the boys who almost got there, whose lives ended before their stories truly began. You learn, very quickly and very painfully, to manage your grief, to push it down, to show no weakness. You learn to keep going, to put one foot in front of the other, even when the world around you feels unstable, even when your heart aches. Resilience becomes a second skin. If you are fortunate, truly fortunate, your knight teaches you far more than just how to wield a sword or ride into battle. He imparts wisdom that goes beyond the physical. He teaches you how to analyze situations, how to assess a man's true nature with a glance, how to interpret a chaotic battlefield, and perhaps most crucially, how to command respect and loyalty. If he is wise, truly wise, he teaches you when to be silent and when to speak, understanding the power of both. He guides you on how to choose your conflicts wisely, knowing that not every challenge needs to be met with a fight. And perhaps the most profound lesson, how to be defeated with dignity, to learn from setbacks rather than be consumed by them. These are the things that armor cannot shield you from, the internal battles that forge a true leader, but they are just as essential, if not more so, than any weapon. Winter, as it always does, presents a whole new set of difficulties. You now grasp, with bone-chilling clarity, that a sword is only as good as the hand that can still grip its hilt, warmed and ready. Your skin cracks from the unforgiving cold, a constant ache. The metal of your knight's armor, once a symbol of strength, feels like touching pure ice as you meticulously strap it on him. Each morning, your fingers numb, The practice ground, usually a hub of activity, transforms into a treacherous mess of frozen slurry. Horses lose their footing, their powerful legs struggling for purchase. And so do you, slipping and sliding, but always getting back up. You do not complain. You cannot. The weather, much like war itself, is utterly indifferent to your feelings, to your comfort, to your pain. It simply is. Amidst the cold and the endless tasks, there's always chatter, a low hum of conversation among the older squires, talk of distant glory, of a brewing rebellion in the east, of a summons from the king himself. You listen, you absorb every scrap of information, and you analyze it all. You've seen enough, experienced enough, to know that glory, in its rawest form, often ends up looking a lot like a grave. Yet, despite this grim understanding, you know, with absolute certainty, that you would ride out in the morning if ordered, without hesitation. The waiting, the agonizing anticipation, is often far harder, far more taxing, than the conflict itself. It's in this crucible of duty, hardship. Imagine this, you're there, sitting alone, a piece of parchment before you. Your hand, probably calloused and a little shaky, grips a quill. You're trying to write your first letter home. It's stiff, awkward, full of formal phrases that don't sound like you at all. It's addressed to your parents, if they're even still out there, and honestly, you barely tell them anything. You're not even sure where you'd mail it, or if it would ever reach them, but as you scratch those few, hesitant words onto the page, something shifts inside you. It's a small act, almost insignificant on its own, but it feels monumental. It's like you're grounding yourself, planting your feet firmly on the earth. It's proving to yourself, even if no one else sees it, that beneath all the layers of bruises, the sweat, the clanking metal of your new life, you are still an individual. You're still you asterisk. This isn't just about writing a letter. It's about reclaiming a piece of your identity, a whisper of who you were before everything changed. It's the first spark of self-discovery in a world that's constantly trying to reshape you. Fast forward a bit. The day's duties are done, the fire crackles, and the air is thick with the smell of wood smoke and victory. There's been a celebration, and the mead has been flowing. Your knight, the one who embodies everything you aspire to be, is in a rare, reflective mood. He's a bit tipsy, his guard is down, and he starts to tell stories. Not the glorious tales of triumph you hear in ballads, but the raw, honest truth of his first campaign. He paints a vivid picture, the relentless rain that soaked them to the bone, the gnawing hunger that made every meal a desperate fight, the sheer, heart-pounding thrill of surviving that initial charge. You can almost feel the mud between your toes, hear the clang of steel, smell the fear and the adrenaline. He pauses, his gaze fixed on the dancing flames, and the mood shifts. The celebration fades, replaced by a quiet solemnity. Then, he starts to list names. 3 men, 3 friends, who didn't make it back. He says them softly, almost reverently. Each name, a heavy stone dropped into the silence. You say nothing. There's no need for words. Your role isn't to comfort or to offer empty platitudes. It's just to be there, to listen, to remember, to witness the weight of leadership and the cost of glory. In that moment, you learn more about courage, loss, and camaraderie than any training session could ever teach you. You understand that beneath the armor and the legend, there's a human being who carries the ghosts of battles past. And in that quiet remembrance, you find a deeper understanding of what it truly means to serve, to fight, and to survive. This isn't just a story. It's a lesson etched into your soul. Every single day, you're out there, practicing. Sometimes in the privacy of a quiet courtyard, sometimes under the watchful eye of the master-at-arms. You're not just swinging a sword, you're embodying a transformation. You watch your knight, every move he makes, every subtle shift in his stance. You copy his posture, the way his shoulders square, the precise angle of his chin. You mimic his footwork, the careful balance, the agile steps that can mean the difference between life and death. You study the precise way he holds his blade before a strike, the almost imperceptible tremor of anticipation, the seamless flow of power from his core to the tip of the steel. You mimic everything, every little detail, hoping that through sheer repetition, through relentless effort, that mimicry will eventually become second nature. It's a grueling process. You bleed, you stumble, you fall. You limp back to your cot at night, every muscle screaming in protest. You learn the hard way, through sweat and pain, that mastery isn't given, it's earned. But with every bruise, every ache, every drop of sweat, you feel yourself getting closer. You're not just practicing movements, you're building resilience, forging discipline, and slowly, surely, you're becoming a part of the warrior you admire. This isn't just training, it's transformation, piece by painful, glorious piece. Then, one morning, it happens. Without any grand ceremony, without any fanfare, your name is spoken. It's a simple directive, delivered with a casualness that belies its monumental weight. You are to ride with your knight. Your heart lurches, not as a spectator, not as a page carrying his shield, but as his second in command. The words hang in the air, electric, echoing the quiet hope you've harbored for so long. There is no sleep that night. None is required. Your mind races, a whirlwind of anticipation, adrenaline, and a deep, quiet resolve. You review every lesson, every practice session, every silent observation of your night. You feel the weight of the responsibility, but it's not crushing. It's invigorating. You spend the hours before dawn mentally preparing, running through scenarios, checking your gear, making sure everything is perfect. When you finally get on your horse, the morning mist still clinging to the ground, you are ready. Not flawless, no. You know you'll make mistakes. And not without fear, for fear is a companion to courage. But you are ready. Ready for the unknown. Ready for the challenge. Ready to step into the role you've worked tirelessly to earn. Your tale is still being composed. Each new experience another line in a burgeoning epic. But already, it's marked into the cold iron of blades. The grime of the roads you've traveled, and the calluses on your hands. You are no longer a boy, not in the innocent sense of the word. Not yet a man, not fully formed in your identity and experience. But you are closer. You are a squire, yes, but more importantly, you are asterisk becoming asterisk. You're on a journey of self-discovery, forging your own path, leaving your unique mark on the world. This is your story, still unfolding, and it's a powerful reminder that growth is a process, not a destination. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. If you enjoyed this dive into the world of becoming, please hit that like button, subscribe for more stories, and let me know in the comments what parts of this resonated with you. Your support means the world.